Hello, everyone. So my name is Jason. This is Peter. We are super excited to have you here today. Peter and I have been working on this for the past, I think, about 6 months, and there's still a lot more to do, but we're going to jump straight in. Our agenda for today, we're going to start with just some basic introductions. We're going to explain to you what RoboSub is, what we need to do as a club in order to get everything going, and then we're going to end with some questions. And I really want to instill in you guys that this is an open discussion. We are a new student team. Think of clubs like Formula, Eclipse, those kinds of teams. This is very new. And if you have any input, any ideas, if you've ever wanted to sort of make your impact somewhere, now and here is the place to do it. So we'll open up discussion more later. Right now, we're going to dump a bunch of info on you, and then we'll open the floor to questions. So to start off, I'm Jason. I'm a first-year mechanical engineering major, and I'm from Los Alamos, New Mexico, which is actually the place where the world's first atomic bomb got built.
And then I'm Peter. I'm Jason's roommate. I'm also a first-year mechanical engineering major. And a little bit about me: I like to surf. I like building with Lego, and then I really like robotics.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I'm a third-year mechanical engineering major. My fun fact is I am a certified scuba diver, but I do not know how to swim.
Hi, I'm Logan Ryder. I'm also a third-year mechanical engineer. I guess my fun fact is my internship this summer is nothing to do with mechanical engineering.
So just to provide you guys with some perspective, so Pierre and I are both alumni of the first robotics competition. Do we have any first alumni here? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Okay, good. So for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, so the first robotics competition, it's a high school competition where teams design and build a robot in a couple months to complete like a series of objectives in a game. And then there's a series of competitions and you're basically ranked on how well you do. So we really enjoyed that experience in high school, and we sort of came here to Davis, and there wasn't as many opportunities as we had in high school to get into robotics. There was a lot of cool stuff like formula racing, like satellite systems, but none of that was exactly what we wanted to do with robotics. So that's kind of why we're starting this club.
So yeah, as Peter said, we want to address the robotics issue. There's a lot of really great engineering team clubs, and we've been actually working with them and sort of getting this started. But we want something a little more robotics oriented, and that's hopefully what we hope to address with this. Also, we want to apply some of the skills that we're learning in class, as well as meet other people who have the same interests as us. These pictures, that's Pierre and I in front of the ESBC before it opened and during the grand opening, which was very fun to see all the fun CNC machines. And hopefully we'll be working in there. We have hopefully a table there.
So then I'm sure the big question is, what even is the RoboSub competition? Well, to put it shortly, it's an international robotics competition where mostly college teams and then a couple high school teams all design a robot in around a year to complete a series of autonomous challenges in about 30 minutes. And then the competition is scored on not only how well your robot does and performs in the water, but also your media, your presentation skills, and then a technical presentation. So the competition's held each year in July for about a week in San Diego. And then RoboSub is also a global community of teams. So we've been networking with some of the other teams within RoboSub. We've been working with UC San Diego a bit to get some resources and get started. And then we've also been talking with the people who organize this competition for how we can get involved and where we. So here's a couple examples of what other teams have entered into the competition in the past years. We have crazy teams like Caltech and Cornell, really advanced machines. And then ones that are still really complicated, but a bit more modest, like UC Riverside and San Diego State. And we're hoping to kind of start small and see what we can do our first year, and then really start working our way up to something very competitive for this competition.
So in order to do all this, the first and foremost thing that we need are people. And that's why you guys are here today. Just so if you're still on the fence, or maybe you're not sure if this is for you, let me give you guys a few reasons to join. First and foremost, First and foremost, this is free. We have decided that we will not be charging membership dues. So there is no like risk or need to like feel like, oh, like is it worth like if you want to give it a shot, you're more than welcome to come a couple of meetings. If it's not for you, we totally understand. There's many more opportunities out there. But within the club, we hope that you'll not only get to work with others, but you also get to build leadership and team working and technical skills, as well as working on a project that will take a long period of time, but will have a very high payout because of how long. And also, this is a place to build community. Ultimately, we want just a place to build robots and do that with people who want to do the same.
Because a lot of what we missed from high school was sort of having like a robotics community, and we came here and we had like a bit more of a difficult time finding that. So we're trying to create something that's like really inclusive, where people can sort of like come together and explore this like passion that I know, like I've talked to a lot of students here, and a lot of students are interested in this sort of thing.
So the specific kinds of people that we need are all of the above. Programmers are going to be huge need. All of us so far are only mechanical engineers, and a lot of us do have programming experience, but the kinds of programming and autonomous work that we're going to need to do is far beyond anything that I've done in the past. So we need
Very complicated, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to need help with that. We need engineers. There's a lot of fluid dynamics, a lot of simulation. We're going to need graphic designers to help distribute team imagery and whatnot. Business people. This is a very expensive project. We're estimating at around $10,000 for a typical operating year, and that's not including travel. So this can be a lot, but funding is one of our biggest limiting factors. And also, we need leaders. Things can only be done when we have people who can help direct masses. So if that is something that you're interested in, now's the time to jump in.
Yeah. So then, yeah, our plans going into next year and for the future with this team is one, we just want to compete in next year's RoboSub competition, right? We just want to have like a working vehicle. So that means we have to go through a full year of building and programming a functioning AUV, which is autonomous underwater vehicle. And then to do that, we need about, like Jason said before, 10K in funding. We need passionate students like you guys to really get this moving. And then we're hoping to start holding regular meetings at the start of next year. We're gonna like work out what the schedule will look like and also talk to you guys and see what makes the most sense. But we're gonna be needing to spend like a decent amount, like a lot of time in this, right? Because those are hard to build. And then we're also hoping part of the community aspect is we want to hold social events and just like time for us to like do team bonding and like hang out together. And then also establish ourselves as a club, both here at Davis within the College of Engineering, and then also within the RoboSub community and get our names out there.
Peter, can I interrupt? Maybe it's just me, but the slides were not updating online. Maybe the other online people experience the same, but for us, the slides have not updated. I'm still stuck at why should you join?
Okay, we'll check that out. Thank you.
Can I get some feedback from everyone else? Good.
Yeah, they're
maybe try. Okay, yeah, maybe try rejoining.
Okay,
Sorry about that. So, yeah, if you right now are like, I want to get involved, I like this is exactly what I want to do. We have a hell of an opportunity for you this summer.
So we've been talking with some of the officials from RoboNation, which is the organization that organizes this RoboSub, this competition. And they've basically invited like us and some of our members to come out to this year's 2023 RoboSub competition in Point Loma, San Diego. And basically part of this invitation is to one, like spectate the event, but they've also offered to help us join another team's roster so we can get like full behind the scenes access. Typically it's only open a couple days for spectators, but part of joining another team's roster is we're allowed to be on the site the entire time and see everything that goes on behind the scenes. So a full disclaimer from us, we're not organizing this event. It's too much and there's too little time. So if you are interested in going, you can talk to us. I'm kind of considering going, but yeah, if you want to go, talk to me and then we can work out some sort of way to get you connected with who you need to talk to and like try to make that trip happen. if you really want to do it. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for listening. We were now gonna open the floor for some just large group questions, and we encourage you guys afterwards to come up and just talk to us directly. We'd love to get you to know you all. A couple heads up, please join the Discord. The Discord is our headquarters. This is where you'll be able to find everything and anything about the Discord. There's still a lot of work to do on that. So if you have any inclination that this is something you might want to do, please make sure you're on there and you have notifications turned on so that we can reach you next year when hopefully everything is up and going and we start actually meeting. Other than that, I would like to open the floor to questions. Yes.
Except for the event in San Diego, will the club be doing anything over summer?
Likely not. We have a lot of administrative things that we need to cover over the summer. But in terms of like meeting, unless there's desire to like have some kind of social event, the trip will likely be the only thing happening.
So like with how I look at it for the summer, like with this club is we don't have enough like groundwork to like actually organize anything. So if you're interested in like learning certain skills or like getting ready for next year, you can talk to us and we can sort of like point you in the direction of like resources, like say like programming resources or just like documentation online for AUVs. And you can like start looking into that. But again, it would just be sort of like you talking with us and then we'd be pointing you in the right direction. Otherwise, like with the 10K in funding, I'm hoping to start like getting on business like as soon as summer starts. So that's another thing is like if you're interested in helping the club raise funds so that we can actually make all this happen, you can also talk to the leadership and we can sort of get you on the right direction. But overall, we're not like asking anyone to do anything over the summer. Yeah.
Just as far as that funding goes, like you said, you need around 10K. What funding sources do you have already, or like what is like the plan with that? Like I'm actually vice president of Davis Robotics Club, and like we've been struggling to get even like a few $100s of funding would have been made a huge difference for our projects, but it just been logistically really hard to get that.
Yeah, so currently we're planning on trying to like leverage as much as we can from our experience with First and then pursuing sponsorships and grants through that. I have a plan to put together like a business packet and then start reaching out to companies. We're also trying to look at Schilling Robotics, which is a marine robotics company here in Davis. And we talked to their founder a month ago. And we're hoping to see if we can work with them either to get funding or to get engineers who'd be willing to like help mentor this team. But otherwise, that is sort of still a gray area. It's like I have a plan, but we're gonna have to see how it plays out. And we're sort of connected with the engineering council. So we have people from Formula and Eclipse and what's the other one, like satellite systems. So we're planning on trying to also like work with them to see what they've done to get funding. And then kind of like model off after their like practices.
Okay.
I think it's also worth mentioning that we're currently waiting on the school to do a bunch of stuff for us. We've registered with them and they're like, we'll get back to you eventually. So like, you know, there's
In my experience with Davis Robotics Club, they more or less never actually get back to you. Like it's been like a year that we've been trying to get all that properly set up. And like we're officially a club, but like getting actually like any resources like that are meant to be available for clubs has been pretty much impossible.
I mean, we have secured space at the ESDC, which is already a major start. We have some friends down there, so like we're basically guaranteed space there.
Okay.
But there's
like we have space, we have tool access, but then it's really about like materials, electronics, and all of that going into an actual robot.
Do you have any sort of estimate as to like what might be like a minimum budget, like if you aren't able to achieve, you know, as much fundraising?
yeah, you made the budget.
Yeah. So like we kind of modeled our budget off of UC Berkeley's AUV team, which started a couple years ago in 2019. And their robot was around, I think they came to around like 7K, 6K, 7K. And they had a very simple, like just like minimal requirements robot. And they also had a very small team of about 7 members. So we're hoping to do something a bit more ambitious than that our first year. But like a minimal robot, we could probably get away with 5K.
Okay.
One of the videos that you can find in Discord, I'll repost it, is of a team that made a robot out of PVC pipe. And they like their tool robot was like in the video was $900. There's some like, I don't know,
Yeah.
but like the scalability on like what we can build, there's a lot of scalability.
Sure.
So, yeah.
We have a question from the chat, from Pedro, is how much programming experience would be needed for the beginning of the project?
Logan
I
is
gotta answer that.
It's kind of hard to answer that objectively, like ideally just having like. If you know basic control flow and some of that like programming, it could be enough as long as like you're working with other people as well. It is going to be a learning opportunity. But probably gonna split in, if we have enough members, we probably split into multiple teams, like one working on like control, another working on probably like computer vision. I don't know, I doubt you'll need like a ton, you probably need a DCS major.
I mean,
I'm working like with enough other programmers.
I mean, I would say if you're interested in doing programming, we can get you set up. And like any amount of programming experience is appreciated. That goes for all disciplines. If you have any amount of experience in anything, maybe you're a mechanical engineer by trade, but you really want to do design work, or maybe you like are a biologist, but you really want to do business work. Like that's totally okay. Like this is an opportunity to extend your boundaries and try things out. We really don't want this to be restricted to your major and what you've done previously, because that's what work is for, and we're not working. So let's explore that.
Was there another question there, or?
There's another question after that.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what kind of challenges the RoboSub will need to do.
Yeah, can you go back to the slide of the
The robots.
Yeah, the robots. So there's a bunch of stuff. They sort of like have a bunch of like obstacles sort of like in this pool where the competition happens. And it's sort of like up to you to see how many you can do in 30 minutes. Like most teams can't get to it, like all of them. Like it's very complicated. That's why you get to like some stuff that's this high level. But it's mostly like sort of like either driving through different hoops, picking up objects, moving them. There's one where you fire torpedoes at a target. And then there's other stuff like measuring the distance from something. It's kind of like designed to like model what like using an AUV is like sort of like professionally, like in the workforce. So similar type tasks, but those sorts of things. Yeah.
Are the tasks the same every year?
They like make slight modifications.
Kind of. Like
It's not like FRC where it's a brand new challenge, but like they're like. From my understanding, it's a lot more stable between years, so it's a lot easier to expect. Also because like, you know, building a submarine is a lot more complicated than like just a chassis that can drive around. So like, I don't think they vary it that much.
yeah, and to that point, like I think most teams usually build a new robot every year. But typically like one robot, you can't just like compete with it multiple years. There's nothing against that. Yeah. Like a lot of teams will make like development robots, sort of like do testing on that for 2 years and then sort of like make a final robot that's sort of the culmination of like all the testing and like development that they've done. So yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a first year mechanical engineer, just gotta know. I feel like I know absolutely nothing or how anything even works. So what would your best advice be to like set yourself up for success in helping this team?
I would start by like just becoming familiar with like what the like competition is, and like going beyond there. That's stuff we decide collectively as a club. Start next year. Like what we'll probably have is next year like sort of like a kickoff event where we'll be like, all right, what does it take? We'll break down. We'll engage in the engineering design process and like, you know, break down all our problems, all our challenges, prioritize, blah blah blah. You know, we've done this before. So like if it's like over the summer, like just become familiar with what the competition is in terms of like long term, like how can it be helpful? If you have if you want to be here and you like care and you put time in, I'm sure that you will get something out. Like Peter and I are working very hard to make sure that is the case.
Yeah.
And I hope that will be the case.
Yeah. I might also put together like a list of resources and just post that on the Discord, like at the start of summer. If you're interested in like learning more about this. Yeah.
Need more questions from chat. All right. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Feel free to stick around and just talk to us. We look forward to seeing you guys some more over the next few years.